You got to want to be in that moment.
William on the drive. Pull up.
I live for moments like this, and for me to make that shot, it's unbelievable. I'm still in shock.
I feel like we earned respect tonight.
There was no championship won last night.
One of the greatest sets in history.
At the end of the day, is that what we came here for? Or did we come here to win a national championship? We came here to win a national championship.
Go out there and believing that we can do it for ourselves. Not playing UConn, you don't breathe easier because you got to play the team that just beat them. And we know it's going to be a knockout, drag out.
This is a great win for us, and we're making history, but at the same time, we're not done.
The Gamecocks are going to march to the national championship game.
40 minutes separates, checking off one of my lifelong dreams.
To make it to the championship game is an accomplishment in itself, but we're aiming for bigger and better things.
You know, we're really excited, but we still see our goal ahead of us.
If we just keep playing the way we're playing, we'll come on top.
I feel like we were born for days like this. One more. We just need one more.
Welcome to the NCAA Women's Final Four Championship Special presented by Capital One. Downtown Dallas is the home of the 2017 Women's Basketball National Championship. 64 teams started the journey in March, but only 4 were destined for Dallas, and fans have flocked here to watch history in the making. And so far, they've seen South Carolina and their second Final Four in 3 seasons get their first win over a college basketball blue blood, and Stanford to play in their very first national championship in program history. And then it was the new kids on the block who came in and shocked the college basketball world with this shot. Morgan Williams rises up, and Mississippi State, they're no longer the underdogs, but they have plenty more to play for as Bulldogs. And this is exactly where it happened. It may have been improbable, but it was not impossible. Connecticut had not lost in 865 days, 111 games until Itty Bitty came and hit the shot heard around the college basketball world. Maria Taylor, Rebecca Lobo, and Andy Landers.
I'm feeling like Itty Bitty.
You
are.
like Itty Bitty. Hey, guys, take me back to that moment and what it meant and how significant it was for where we are right now in the tournament.
Well, I think you've already touched on it. You know, for years, the last 4 years, this has been a day that UConn has played. UConn isn't in the conversation. The conversation has changed. Tonight, we're talking about a team that no one expected to be here, Mississippi State.
And even though no one expected them to be here, they have the team with the most momentum because of how they beat Baylor to get to the Final Four, how they beat Connecticut. And you're talking, of course, about Morgan Williams and what she's been able to do. She was asked yesterday, how tall are you for real? She said 5'5". 6 feet when I'm on the court.
And she said that when she rose up, she saw opportunity over the hands of Gabby Williams. But now Mississippi State, they have one more game. And here's their head coach, Vic Schaefer, with Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach Schaefer, you have said at every practice I've been to, every moment with your team, one more game. Does your team have one more game in them?
I believe they do. I believed in them all year. They've shown tremendous resiliency all year. They're tough, and I believe they know what's in front of them. So we're going to give our one more today.
After you played South Carolina the last time in the SEC Championship, you totally remade your team to get more productive scoring. They haven't seen this version of you. What can fans in South Carolina expect that's a little different?
Well, I think we refocused. We had some kids that were playing really well at that time that needed to be on the floor a little bit more, and they were. And then I think those kids that maybe weren't playing as well are now playing better. And so it's a combination of things, but the bottom line is we've played 10 kids double-figure minutes all year long. That's hard to do and keep continuity, and we've been able to do it. So that's a testament to our team.
Coach, you have championship winning experience as an assistant with A&M. What can you lean on tonight with your team?
Just putting them in the right positions. You know, all they got to do is go play. I'm going to do my job as a coach, put them in a good spot, and but they got to go make plays. And that's the thing, you know, preparation, my staff, they've been tremendous all year long. We've got them ready. Now we got to go play.
One more game.
One more game.
Thanks, Holly. That's right. One more game. Mississippi State, they still have some work to do. In fact, the previous 3 teams to beat UConn in the Final Four failed to take home the championship. And regardless of the outcome tonight, the Bulldogs buzzer beater in overtime, it's definitely going to go down as one of the greatest upsets in sports history. So let's run through some of those. Vic Schaefer actually showed the movie Miracle to his team a season ago. I think they figured it out. Team USA getting the win over the Soviets, then Chaminade taking down top-ranked Virginia. Jimmy V, they beat the Cougars in 1983. 2 years later, an 8-seed Villanova completes the improbable, beats Georgetown. Then the 42-1 favorite Mike Tyson loses to Buster Douglas in 10 rounds. Harvard, they beat the 1-seed Stanford. That was the first time it's ever happened. And Rulon Gardner hands Alexander Carrell first loss in 15 years. Then the Wolverines, they fell to App State. They were a 27-point underdog, and Eli Manning, the touchdown pass in 39 seconds, gave Patriots their first loss in Super Bowl 42. And Itty Bitty, the hands of the upset, she holds the key. She only had 11 points through the first 3 rounds. Since then, she's had 41 points against Baylor in the Elite Eight. Then she comes in and hits the game winner against the Connecticut Huskies. And Asia Wilson, she's a first-team All-American for another season, a 2-time SEC Player of the Year, and right now averaging 18 points a game for South Carolina in postseason play. Well, we're going to hear from Holly and Dawn Staley now on the national championship matchup.
Well, Coach Staley, you are one of the few people in the world that has played in this game as a player, and now you're trying to do it with your players. What can you tell them about this experience they'll have tonight that will help them?
The best advice I can give them is to stay in the moment, stay the course. Don't do anything different because the stage is, a little bit, stakes are a little bit higher. Just be yourself. Be closer to yourself as possible. And then, once the game sets in, you'll feel it's like normal. It's like a normal game.
Your last game against Mississippi State caused them to kind of have a makeover. And so you haven't seen this new version of them. What do you feel concerned about seeing tonight with the Bulldogs?
Well, Mississippi State is scoring the ball with a lot more ease than they were early in the season. There are a lot less lapses in scoring throughout the game. But I think for us, we gotta stay the course. We gotta stay engaged and try to make it very difficult for them to run their offenses for a 40-minute period, and hopefully that works for us.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Holly.
Thanks, Holly. And I'll tell you what, Dawn, the fans are already engaged. Mississippi State, the fans have come in from Starkville. No cowbell in the arena. You can ring it out there. Plenty more breakdown coming your way on this championship matchup.
You're watching the NCAA Women's Championship Special, presented by Capital One. The NCAA Women's Championship Special is presented by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back. Every purchase, everywhere.
Spring football, it started in Dallas. Coach Terry Gamble getting Allen High School Eagles ready for the fall. They've won 2 state championships in the past decade. It's all about championships right now in Dallas.
I'm excited. We made it to the Final Four. So in Igbo, obimna samusa na jena na Final Four. In French, j'ai très excitement parce que je vais the Final Four. In Pidgin English, my body they sweet me say we don't go Final Four. In Benin, dahuna hinta isa kana Final Four.
In any language, it's been quite a journey for Mississippi State center Chinwe Okori. It began when she was 16 years old, and parts of it are still very difficult for her to talk about. She was 16 years old in Nigeria, and her father literally died in her arms.
He had gone, traveled on a trip, and then he had come back, and then we ran out the house, and we went to, grab him, give him a hug and everything. I was, in the front hugging him, and so my siblings were just all around. And so I felt his weight, he wasn't saying anything. And so he just kept being heavy. We just fell on the floor, and we started screaming for my mom, and then, yeah, I can't even tell doctors and they checked on him, and, you know, they were like he was gone, but we didn't believe he was gone, and so we let him stay in the house. Like, we let him sleep in the house that night because we didn't think he was dead, and so, but, you know, like, he didn't wake up and anything, but until the following day, we just took him to the mortuary.
6 months after losing her father, Chinwe Okorie left her home in Lagos, Nigeria, and traveled more than 5,000 miles to a prep school in Massachusetts to further her education. That was 2011. She has not seen her 5 siblings or her mother since.
I couldn't imagine, because after every game, I'm the first person I'm looking for is my mom, to go hug her next.
Leaving home, just knowing that her support system, which was my dad, was not there, and it was just so hard for me. My mom was skeptical about it, but she was just like, if you believe in this, I'll let you do it.
Okorie is now 6'5", about to earn her 2nd degree from Mississippi State, and maybe her program's first national title.
What would he think of where you're at now?
He'll be very proud. I mean, he'll be really excited for me. I know he is. By the end of May, I'll have 2 degrees in 4 years. That's a big accomplishment, but this will be really, really good too.
Okorie has 1 brother and 4 sisters. She told me they will be watching this game, but it will not be live. It's not on live in Nigeria. She said they won't get a chance to see it until Tuesday morning. Okorie also told me that once she graduates in May, she's hoping to have a chance to get back to Nigeria and see her family, Maria, for the first time in 6 years. Hard to even fathom that.
So true, Bob. Can't even imagine what Chinwe Okorie has gone through, apart from her entire family, a world away from her family for 6 years, but she is already, as a senior at Mississippi State, one of the career leaders in wins. She's going to go out with a class that has never won more games than she and players like Dominique Dillingham have been able to win at Mississippi State, still looking to accomplish one more thing here with the Bulldogs, and that is winning a national championship game. And let's talk about the story of Chinwe Okorie, because we see how special she is. We also know what a leader she is as a senior, but Coach, could you imagine coaching a player that has not seen her family for 6 years and what it takes as a coach to handle a certain situation like that?
Well, coaching her is one thing. Let me just voice my appreciation for what she has done. I think it's absolutely amazing. It takes a lot of courage, and courage is a word we don't use very much anymore. And it's sad that we don't. You read it in history books. There were a lot of courageous acts. It takes a lot of courage to leave your family, to leave your country, and you put a lot of faith, hope, and confidence in total strangers. You're going somewhere to some place where you know absolutely no one. You know, that takes a special person with a lot of inner drive, and Chinwe Okorie is a special person.
And because of what she's been through, she has a maturity about her. And even when we were meeting with the teams and she'd be surrounded by her teammates, she was the voice for that team in a lot of ways. What she says carries weight. They know what she's been through. And she's just an impressive young woman. And while her family can't watch the game until Tuesday, they do go to Facebook and they are on the Twitter to follow what's going on.
Would call it.
As Coach would call it.
So they will be able to see the outcome of this game. And Chinwe Okorie, by the way, she is just one of 2 6'7" players that Vic Schaefer has on his roster. The other, her name is Tierra McCown, who actually played for Dawn Staley in U18. And Dawn says she's grown so much, Coach, since she saw her about 3 years ago. And what's changed about her, and how does it help Mississippi State?
Well, a lot of things have changed. She's improved. She's become a more mobile player. She's become a more talented player. But the long and short of Mississippi State starts with the big one, Tierra McCowan. She has effective play around the basket. She is intimidating. That was a 68% shooter who just blew that layup. She steps out the hedge. It results in a turnover. She's long. She's tall. She's quick. She can reach around and deflect basketballs, make plays on the defensive end. She can score, she can rebound, but it's itty-bitty, the short of it, that hit the shot that shocked the basketball world a couple of nights ago over the best defender on UConn's team. 5'2", versus 5'7". She got off the floor 19 inches. She has an excellent evaluation of space, what she needs to get shots off. The bigger defenders don't phase her. She gets up quick, she gets extended, she gets it released just in time.
Hey, take a look at what Starkville has done at one of their coffee shops, Strange Brew. They got a itty bitty, you got a Victoria Vivian, she's coming in right in the middle, and you got Tiara McCown.
I like it.
Based on Coach's energy, he has a Tiara McCown.
He had the Tiara McCown.
Give
We
me
all
an
took
itty
it.
bitty.
Hey, you know, I also saw a story about that, and at Strange Brew, they also have a Final Four coffee, and it's just 4 shots of espresso. We should have all taken one beforehand.
I don't need one. You guys need it.
But what about it? The long and the short of it, or the high and the low, or whatever we want to call it. It's impressive.
I'm not going to go with the short of it. I'm going to go with the long of it here. And Tiara McCown. I mean, she had 10 points in the win over Connecticut, but it was big buckets. And it was against Gabby Williams, the best defender in the country. And because of her size and Vic Schaefer's ability to take advantage of her size, they'll clear things out. They'll lob the basketball to her. She will finish inside an SEC championship game against South Carolina. She had 15 points, 12 boards. I think she's going to need even a little bit more here today to help them win a national championship. All right, Rebecca, you bring up the earlier meetings between these teams. That's because this is the 3rd time that they will face off against one another this season. Once in the regular season, and you guys most certainly remember this, it was in Columbia, South Carolina, and in fact, Mississippi State, they were up at the half, but we saw Chinwe Okorie foul out. We also saw Tiara McCown foul out, and we saw South Carolina go on a run late to get the victory over Mississippi State, and it was a 4 versus 5 matchup that Dawn Staley walked away with. Then in the SEC championship game, it was a lot of Asia Wilson and no Elena Coates because she did not return after playing for a second in the semifinals. And then Kayla Davis went off for 23 points in the matchup, and it was huge and has been riding a wave of scoring offense ever since. But that was the lowest scoring day for Mississippi State and their lowest shooting percentage. Things have certainly changed since then, but check out the offense. It struggles against South Carolina. They have averaged just 55 points per game in the 2 meetings, scoring over 77 points against everybody else. And Mississippi State went 0 for 15 from 3-point range in the SEC championship, so there certainly were some struggles there. And I don't think that we give Dawn Staley and her South Carolina team enough credit defensively. I don't know if we talk about them enough, but Mississippi State has struggled against South Carolina's D.
Well, and you're going to see 2 teams tonight that know how to guard each other. It's just what happens when you play against a conference opponent, and especially when you play them for the 3rd time. They know what each other's doing, and they're set to disrupt and discourage the other team from doing what it likes to do. But yes, they're an excellent defensive basketball team, great quickness on the perimeter, and inside stopper and shot blocker. They have all the pieces.
I think Mississippi State, though, is a much different team now than the one that played in the SEC championship game because of what Vic Schaefer did after that game, going back, reworking his substitution patterns, getting more offense out there. But Morgan Williams is a completely different player. In that game, 1 assist to 7 turnovers. The confidence she has now after her past 2 performances, she's just got a completely different vibe about her game, and it's going to be a key here tonight.
Yeah, Mississippi State right now averaging 87 points per game in the NCAA tournament. Coming into the tournament, they had 7 90-point games. They've had 3 so far since getting into postseason play. That has all come since playing South Carolina. Asia Wilson, though, she has been big in every single matchup against Mississippi State. She has been averaging 20 points per game and 9 rebounds. And Victoria Vivian, she's just trying to get right against these Gamecocks. Again, she did not knock down a 3-pointer against South Carolina, which is a part of her bread and butter, and she's coming off a 19-point game against Connecticut. Bully would love to see Victoria Vivian, the leading scorer, have a great night. Well, you'll have to wait a little more than 50 minutes, Bully, until we get this thing tipped off. The NCAA Women's Championship Special is brought to you by Capital One Cup. Capital One annually awards $400,000 in scholarship money and the Capital One Cup trophy to the best NCAA Division I men's and women's athletic programs. We are here with some of the best in women's basketball, the 2017 National Championship, and we brought Nell Fortner out of SEC country so that she can give us a Nell yes.
And then there were two SEC teams making it to the finals in the women's Final Four. Hey, that hasn't happened since 1996 when Tennessee and Georgia did it. But South Carolina, you expected to be here and you got here. That's a nail, yes. And how about the Mississippi State Bulldogs? You're here, and that's a big hell yes to the Bulldogs right there. And Morgan Williams, how about you? At 5'5", we know that's not really the truth, but there has been no moment, no game too big for you. You dropped 40 against Baylor to get your team to the Final Four, and then in overtime, you hit a game-winning buzzer beater against the UConn Huskies, and you took down their 111-game win streak. Itty bitty, now yes. And how about the fans? Y'all have come here to the Final Four and turned the American Airlines Arena into something special. Absolutely outstanding. To the Bulldogs, to the Cardinal, to the Gamecocks, to the Huskies. That's a nail, yes. And hey, Rebecca Lobo, you just found out you're going to be inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame. You helped elevate this game at a major point of growth in the mid-90s, and you continue to do it today. Nail, yes.
I've been looking for a nail yes all season. That's a better award than getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. It's hard to come by a nail yes.
I haven't gotten
now, if I just get a ticket to Andyland for 3 years. Yeah, we're going to keep your head a little small. We don't want it to get too big. It's got to stay on your shoulders. We got an entire championship game to get through, so we're not going to talk about Rebecca too much in that Hall of Fame. We got to talk about the post players that are playing in this game, Rebecca. You want to do that? Players like freaking Asia Wilson, who is a two-time first-team All-American, and she's also played very well in matchups against Mississippi State, but she's also receiving a lot of attention these days, Rebecca.
The defense knows to go to Asia Wilson because she is the stud for South Carolina. Anytime you watch them play, your eye goes to her. She gets double, triple teams. She's able to score over them. But what she did so well in the last meeting, in the Final Four semifinal game, was she found her teammates. When she got double and triple teamed and players were open, she was able to get them the basketball. She rebounded like a beast. She just had one of her best games of the year. And now we're going to get a chance to look at all those things I was just talking about. So take a look. This is what's going to happen. She's going to draw a lot of attention. And what did she do in the semifinal game against Stanford? She found open teammates. She had 4 assists on the game. This is a player whose mentality is normally just go to the bucket and score. She was outstanding on the glass. 8 offensive rebounds in the game, 19 total, and then you know she's going to go to that left hand. She's a left-handed player. That's where she's strong. But once again, what impressed me more than anything, she recognized the attention, found open teammates, had patience. That is key for big players when they see the doubles and triples coming. And here you go. She can't just go left because she's left-handed. She can also go right. She has an uncanny ability for a big player to find little seams, get her body through them, and finish at the rim.
And, Coach, one thing that she said in meetings even yesterday was that she gets frustrated when she can't find her teams, and she's been walled up a lot here in this tournament. I mean, what have you seen out of her in the play?
Well, first of all, in tonight's game, she could get frustrated because the walling up will come in the form of 6'7" McCowan. Her ability to play around her, not try to play over her, is important. But the most important thing for South Carolina tonight, she better not foul. And by the way, her head get any bigger? It's already big.
You're right. It probably could not get any bigger. Asia Wilson, though.
Not feeling the love. Not feeling the love.
Wilson's playing with some great teammates, one of which was a former enemy, but transferred into South Carolina, and they've become really close friends. That is Alicia Gray.
And the whistle. Foul away from the ball.
Seeing Asia first was on the court, so, like, of course, like, I didn't like her because she was on the other team. So I thought she was like, I thought she was a nice person on the outside looking in. Thought she was like all sweet and innocent. Then I got on the inside looking out and my whole perspective has changed. Last time on the court, she grabs my cheeks and squeezes them on the court. So you know what I did? I grabbed her cheeks and squeezed them back. Just having Asia around, it keeps me sane because without her, I probably would have exploded by now, but having her is a blessing.
And I help her assist game. Duh.
What a job by Asia Wilson. And credit Alicia Gray with the assist.
When she passes me the ball.
Don't do that. I'm not getting into this
Normally
with you.
It's like a rebound. You help my rebounds get up.
Hey,
offense.
Tagging your stat.
Hey everyone, that's
joining us. What's up? We're live from our dorm room.
We got about an hour left, y'all.
Right. I honestly didn't know Twitter had a live. I thought it was just like Instagram, you know, but we saw the live button and we kind of text the people of higher level saying if we could use it. And they say yes, and you know, we just took it all in. Oh, we got some hearts. I got a lot of comments saying like they've never seen that side of me, like the laughing, goofy side, because they just think I'm like always stone-faced and don't smile and laugh and serious all the time. But that's not me at all. I'm a very goofy person. She eats all my food. She doesn't knock on my door. She comes in, she just opens the door and comes on in. She announces everything she's about to do instead of just doing it. That's all facts. I can't even come back to that. Like, that's really... But don't get it twisted. She does the same to me. So I don't even want to hear that.
That's literally the most animated I've ever seen Alicia Gray, and that's because of her teammate, Asia Wilson, who's an All-American. She was also the SEC Player of the Year for the last 2 seasons. She's probably hoping that one day she could follow in the steps of our esteemed colleague. I know we said we were going to try not to make her head too big, but we got to show Rebecca Lobo back in her prime. Yes.
That wasn't my prime. That was just when I was young.
Being inducted the 2017 class of the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Rebecca, she was a part of an undefeated season at Connecticut, won a national championship in 1995, also won an Olympic gold in Atlanta in 1996 with the Dream Team, and played in the WNBA. She had a professional career that spanned 6 seasons, balled out with braids, balled out with ponytails, balled out with everything, and now we're so happy that you're receiving this award.
But my prime is now, Maria.
Is it?
I finally reached a place in my life where I can sit next to Coach Landers night after
the highlight. It's got to be the highlight.
No, it's the highlight. I'm going to finally do it. Get over here.
Now
I'm
you have done it all.
She's a Hall of Famer.
Now you have done it all.
You have to let her do it. But seriously, Coach, what does this mean? I mean, we get to sit next to a Hall of Famer. We talk about changing basketball, but that's what she's been able to do.
Well, I really like what Nell said. You know, at a time when women's basketball needed some wings, it needed to fly, it needed to get loose, along came UConn and this young lady right here, and they took us to another level. The exposure that they gained on ESPN, the national exposure, took women's basketball somewhere that it had never been, and Rebecca was a big part of that.
It took this for him to say something nice about me. And at some point, he'll learn how to pronounce my name.
Rebecca. It must be the last show because Coach is loving on Rebecca. She won a Wade Trophy back in 1995. And how about this year's Wade Trophy winner? It is Kelsey Plum. I don't think anyone had a doubt that she was going to get it. She racked up some serious hardware this season, scored 57 points on Washington's senior day to become the NCAA Division I all-time points leader, and then eventually claimed the single-season scoring record as well. So congratulations to Kelsey Plum and the Washington Huskies. Well, it will go down in infamy. No one will ever forget it. Morgan Williams, who a second when that ball leaves her hand. Check out the baseball team reacting. That's kind of how we looked up here on set. Check it out. All over Starkville, there was madness. Yeah. Dak Prescott, can't believe it. Yeah. They came to Dallas to impress their boy, the Rookie of the Year, the Pro Bowler, Mississippi State. They have done the unthinkable thanks to itty-bitty Morgan Williams. She's 5 foot whatever. That's what we're calling her these days. Is coming off a huge performance against Connecticut, and over the last 2 games, averaging 27 points, already scored 41 against Baylor, which is the most an SEC player has ever scored in tournament history. Kayla Davis now, she's been up and she's been down. She's coming off of a 6-point performance, but she had 3 consecutive 20-point games, which is the first time that we have seen that during the season. And Kayla Davis, all of her teammates, they enjoy playing for Dawn Staley, but I think they really enjoy doing impressions of their head coach, Dawn Staley.
God, Asia,
Go, right here. Pass it.
Stay engaged, Kay. Stay engaged.
You gotta put this into executing.
When she's like ready to draw a play, like she'll have like her lifesavers and she'll just be, when her lifesaver, her jaw, she'll just be putting the pen and just looking at you. That's Coach.
American Airlines Center, and you can take a look around at the history that we're surrounded by, as Mississippi State and South Carolina both look to make history. Either one could be winning their program's very first national championship. Dawn Staley, the head coach of South Carolina, she went to 3 Final Fours as a player at Virginia, and in '91 she was named the Final Four most outstanding player, but became the only MOP to win the award, but not the title. And Coach Staley still remembers that game vividly.
We lost in overtime after being up 4 with 1:20. To go full court, I went in for a layup. I think it got blocked from behind. If I could get that play back over again, I would stop and pump fake. You win a lot of, great games, important games. But the losses are the ones that stick with you the most, and they hit you the hardest.
Well, there's still a chance for Dawn Staley and South Carolina to win a national championship. And the guys who'll be calling the game, Dave O'Brien, Doris Bird, Kara Lawson. Let's hear what they have to say about this All-SEC matchup.
Thanks, Maria. As you know very well, it's been a sight to behold to watch UConn in these Final Fours with their domination. But one thing we know for certain tonight, this is very exciting for all of us, there's going to be a new champion tonight here in Dallas, Texas. And Doris, for one of these two schools, for the very first time going home a champion.
Right. How cool for these two head coaches making their debut in the national title game, both in the mighty SEC, but individual programs that had trouble gaining traction prior to their arrival. And tonight, Kara, one of them is going to get a program-changing national championship. This is awesome.
And it will be awesome. Vic Schaefer and Dawn Staley, tremendous head coaches, but these games are always about players. They always have been, they always will be. The collection of talent on this court is very, very good. What I've been impressed, though, is the synergy, the belief, the communication among these teams. These two teams are here for a reason. We might be surprised, neither of them is.
Yeah, great will to win. So tell us, how does it happen on the floor? How does it get done?
Well, South Carolina, in the kind of respect you only get from conference rivals, called Mississippi State annoying. Well, what's annoying about playing Mississippi State? Let's take a look. So one of the first things they talked about is against a Mississippi State team that is one of the better defensive teams in the country. On any drive, you better be aware of this. Rotation, right? You think you've got a lane to the basket, Mississippi State says, no ma'am. And if they make a bucket, you will not lack for company. They are in your grill trying to pressure you 94 feet. And boy, oh boy, you're never going to be lonely. You better inbound it cleanly. And you know this. Listen, this is a defense that's on a string, that works together, that's always perfectly positioned. They're up the line. They're in deny. So you need playmakers. Ty Harris, one freshman to another. You've got to be able to make plays against a defense this good. We'll see if they can do it, South Carolina.
One of the players they'll be counting on to make plays is Alicia Gray. This is a player that's been moved into the power forward position. Yes, they have the All-American Asia Wilson, but Alicia Gray might be the most important Gamecock tonight. Her versatility on the offensive end. She has an expressionless face, but that belies the confidence, the toughness, the competitor that lies within this young woman. One of the best things a coach or a teammate can say about you is that you are dependable. Every single person associated with this Gamecock program, they say that about Alicia Gray.
So, Maria, that is the how-to. We know they have loads of want-to. Should be a dandy tonight. The national championship to be decided here in Dallas, and we can't wait.
And you know, Dave, no matter what happens, we know that history will be made. Both of these teams playing in the national championship game for the very first time. But for South Carolina, they're playing without a very integral piece of their roster. It's Elena Coates, who is their big man, their 5-man, a part of their high-low play. And she went down on February 23rd against Texas A&M. She played again against Kentucky during the regular season and scored 13 points. Tried to go in the SEC semis, but then did not play in the finals. And we have not seen her since. And take a look at just how good she was. She was 3rd in the nation in field goal percentage, 5th in the nation in rebounds per game, and also she was a senior, so she had been a part of Dawn Staley and building up this entire South Carolina program, getting them into this moment. The last thing that we've heard from South Carolina as a staff is that doctors have wanted her to stay behind and continue getting treatment on that injured ankle. But is it a unique situation that we have not seen her, not in the first and second rounds when they were in Columbia at all? They're supporting her team.
Yeah, don't ask me to explain it because I can't, but I think the word unique is probably appropriate. I know of no other time that a senior, this is a basketball player who started the rise of South Carolina basketball with Dawn Staley. She was a captain. For her not to have been on the bench in Columbia in the earlier rounds caught my attention. I can't explain it. Where was she? I did not see her in the building. For her not to be here cheering on her teammates at the national championship, I find to be unusual.
You find it to be unusual. I find it to be bizarre. I mean, we've seen a lot of situations in the past where a team loses a player to injury and come to the Final Four, but we've never not seen the player there. Often they can offer inspiration for their teammates. And when we asked the team a couple days ago, you know, what their communication has been with Elena, they said, well, we got a couple tweets and a couple texts, but it's different to not have that injured player on the bench.
Yeah, comparatively speaking, you could think of a Brianna Turner who goes down with an ACL for Notre Dame, and we saw her travel to Lexington, although she could not play anymore for the remainder of the tournament. Well, South Carolina, they will play without Elena Coates, and they are here in the national championship. Bianca Quay-Rossmore, she comes off the bench for Dawn Staley. She's got a little bit of a fire in her. She was a part of the hand clap hoopla video for the Gamecocks, and guess what? They get to take the crown.
Somebody save your soul, 'cause you've been sinning in the city. I know too many troubles, all these lovers got you losing control. You like a drug to me, a luxury, my sugar and gold. I want the good life every good night, you're a hot one to hold. 'Cause you don't even know. I can make your hands clap. Said I can make your hands clap. Somebody save your soul, 'cause you've been sinning in the city. I know too many troubles, all these lovers got you losing control. You like a drug to me.
All right, South Carolina, you've already won the hand clap hoopla challenge. Kayla Davis had 23 points in the SEC title game. We'll see what she has in store for us against Mississippi State in the national championship games.
Every night when the stars.
Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Championship Special, presented by Capital One.
111 consecutive victories for the UConn Huskies taking on Mississippi State.
There is no reason to be scared. You are one hell of a basketball team. You got to go play.
Got beat by 60 last year. We wanted to let them know we was here the first 5 minutes, and I feel like that's what we did.
And UConn wins the opening tip underway in our second national semifinal. Here comes Vivians and nails the three. Here's Johnson. Oh, she'll bank it in.
We came out and punched first like Coach wanted us to, and from that beginning of the game, we felt like we had a chance.
Well, it's not often you see Connecticut out hustle. They are getting beat to every 50-50 opportunity, and that is surprising.
Vivians beats Samuelson. She lays it in. Mississippi State is pouring it on UConn. Vivians open. Got it.
They look supremely confident.
And Mississippi State goes to the locker room with an opportunity to shock the world.
We go out there and believe that we can do it for ourselves. So we knew if we would have put UConn on their toes, like we would have had a chance to win the game.
They're getting an ass chewing right now about not playing hard, thinking they were going to walk in and run it down our throat like they did a year ago. So my challenge to you guys is that you got another half of it.
Here's Samuelson starting to get a little bit noisy now. Nurse, yes. Oh, that's sweet. Williams kept it alive. Collier off the window.
Extraordinary athleticism.
UConn finally, for the first time tonight, has taken the lead.
I was just like, we gotta win this game. We lose like this, then I mean that's really gonna hurt us. We're gonna be heartbroken.
Vivians got it. Williams looking for an upset for the ages. Blocked by Williams. Time to get a heave. Chung. No. And this game is going overtime.
You're in that game and in that moment, and you know, I realized we were playing well, and we were playing well against Connecticut.
That kind of gave us a lot of confidence that, okay, we could win this game.
Did anybody see this coming? Williams tapped away by McCowan. Samuelson went down. She's in pain deep in the backcourt.
It's an automatic flagrant one. You can see Vic Schaefer is furious.
I didn't have any idea anything like that happened, so I'm like, when, where, how, who.
Coach was pretty aggressive up there, so we just had to calm them down and just like tell them like they're not taking this from us.
Sean on the drive, stumble and lost it. It's going to roll on a play. 12.3 and another timeout.
We've got to find a way to get Morgan the ball. And so at that point, then it's Morgan realizing, you know, the last time I had the ball in regulation, I went to the rim and got it blocked. So this time, she had a plan.
William on the drive. Pull up, pop! Got it! She got it! She got it! One of the great upsets in history. Mississippi State has ended the streak at 111 consecutive games.
I live for moments like this. UConn, I mean, they're an incredible team, you know. And for me to make that shot against them is just, it's unbelievable. I'm still in shock right now.
Maybe we're just not ready for this. Maybe we're ready for everything else, but maybe we're just not mature enough yet for this.
It's been incredible. I'm proud of what we've done.
This took a gutsy performance today by an entire team. What an unbelievable team we just beat tonight. I don't have to play them 100 times. Only got to beat them once.
I mean, I got this far. Might as well keep going. Go for it all.
That epic upset ended a 111-game winning streak. Now they have to end a losing streak to South Carolina. Mississippi State has lost the last 10. Do they have one more streak breaker in them? We'll see soon.
The NCAA Women's Championship Special is presented by the Capital One Venture Card. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase, every day. What's in your wallet?
Mississippi State Bulldogs, they had Dak Prescott in the building. Remember, he played at Mississippi State, redshirted as a true freshman in 2011, wore number 15. He had his jersey on, and now he's a Dallas Cowboy, who's a Rookie of the Year and a Pro Bowler. And he was a little excited. He went through some stressors, though. It was an up-and-down game. You check him out.
He was involved.
Yes, he was involved.
Hit this guy's hat? Once he hit this guy, knocked that guy's hat down over his head.
The cool thing about Dak Prescott is he's been at Mississippi State. He was there before Vic Schaefer got there. So, Morgan Williams, she's been a hero all season, but she's dedicated this tournament to her hero. Bob Holtzman has more.
William on the drive. Pull up, pop! Got it! She got it! She got it!
In 1 week, Morgan Williams not only ended the longest winning streak in college basketball history, she also scored a career-high 41 to eliminate #1 seed Baylor.
Yeah, I remember in the huddle, she looked at me and she said, "Coach, if I'm open, I'm going to shoot it." And I said, "You know what, that's a good idea. Let's do that."
Morgan Williams, what a game! Unstoppable!
It's what the normally composed point guard did just after leading Mississippi State to its first Final Four that surprised those who know her the most.
This was from my dad, you know. Yesterday
was the 3-year anniversary of losing her dad.
It was for him. It's just for him.
I didn't mean to cry on like the biggest stage of my life, but I mean, it's just one of the moments for me.
I've seen her play with emotion before, but after the game to see it pouring out of her and to realize this was something that really motivated her, the tears are coming out of her eyes and mine too.
William was raised in Birmingham, in part by Donnie Rory, a stepfather she called Dad. It was Rory who introduced her to basketball and hard work.
He pushed me the hardest, like, he got the most out of me, literally. I mean, he made me do stuff that I didn't think I could do.
Man, he was really tough on her, but at the same time, he didn't accept anything that he knew she couldn't handle.
Because he was complaining about his chest, but he had already went to the doctor that morning, and he said everything was fine. So the next day, he got up, went to work, he was feeling fine. And right when he walked to work, he just had a heart attack.
I remember being told and immediately turning and looking out the glass windows in my office and crying.
I was just heartbroken and stuff like that, but I mean, I knew I had to get back to work.
Once it really set in and she realized, you know, like, he was gone, that was when her motivation just kicked in and she was like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go play ball at Mississippi State and I'm gonna lead this team and I'm gonna do everything that he put in my heart to do.
3 years later, Morgan Williams is the starting point guard on Mississippi State's first Final Four team. And tonight, she will take the floor with a perspective shaped by a lot of wins and one big loss.
I know he won't want me to get all tied up into it and be like, you made this far. Don't dwell and ruin the moment. Keep playing hard and finish it out. So that's what I'm going to do.
And Morgan Williams now looking to finish it out for her father. She's coming off of a game-winning performance against Connecticut. She scored 41 points in the Elite Eight to take down a 1 seed in Baylor. There's still one more seed ahead of them. Ty Harris, the freshman point guard for Dawn Staley, has played big down the stretch.
And she's going to have to really take care of the basketball. In the SEC Championship, the last time they played Mississippi State, she had 4 turnovers in that game. Hard for a freshman to run the point guard spot in the Final Four.
It's easier when you got Asia Wilson. 20 points, 9 rebounds is what she's averaging against Mississippi State.
Oh, and she could get it tonight, but she's not going to get it over the top, not over 6'7" McCowan. She's going to have to play around her, use her footwork, use her quickness to get out of the 6'7" McCowan's reach. If she does, South Carolina plays well.
Speaking of McCowan, she was the SEC 6th Woman of the Year. Now she's starting and playing well.
You know what I'm going to talk about here, Maria? Size. We're going to talk about size. Holly Rowe marveling at her leg leverage today in this shoot-around. Big, strong woman right there.
All right, guys, we don't normally do this, but it's time for predictions. Rebecca, you get to go first. Give me your national champion at the end of this game.
I hate making predictions. Our producer, Mike Diesenhoff, said I have to make a prediction.
You do.
Going to the team that has the momentum, Mississippi State.
All right.
Folks, this is really, really close. But in championship games, you need a little depth. Mississippi State has the depth to pull this off.
All right, Vic Schaefer said don't pick him. We'll see who gets the win. History is about to be made, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the game.
You got to want to be in that moment.
William on the drive. Pull up, pop!
I live for moments like this. And for me to make that shot, it's unbelievable. I'm still in shock.
I feel like we earned respect tonight.
There was no championship won last night.
One of the greatest sets in history!
At the end of the day, is that what we came here for? Or did we come here to win a national championship? We came here to win a national championship.
Go out there and believe in that we can do it for ourselves. Not playing UConn, you don't breathe easier because you got to play the team that just beat them. And we know it's going to be a knockout, drag out.
This is a great win for us. We're making history, but at the same time, we're not done.
The Gamecocks are going to march to the national championship game.